Hey Gadget Groupies! Checking out another case for the iPhone 6s. Now in Southern California we don't get a lot of weather, so most of my hikes are out in sort of desert conditions. I've been using an Urban Armor gear case just to give a little extra drop in shock protection to my really fragile, pretty fashion phone here, the iPhone 6s. But of course, occasionally we do need better protection for things like water. Like right now in Southern California, it's raining like crazy because of El Nino, and I don't know what a small child has to do with weather, but there you have it. The folks at Dog and Bone have sent over one of their Wetsuit Impact waterproof slim rugged cases for us to try out. We're gonna test it out, make sure the case is watertight, then throw an iPhone in it and see if it survives our little puddle test here. So Wetsuit Impact should also give us just a little extra drop and shock protection, and it should also help us protect the screen. I think there is a built-in, yes, this is the case that has a built-in screen guard. They also make a slim waterproof case where the screen is exposed, but that one freaks me out. So we're gonna check out the Impact here. All right, just looking at the case and the screen guard, everything's covered. So every single port, every single cutout for the camera, for the earpiece, for the front-facing camera, for your home button there, everything's got some kind of membrane on it to prevent any water from leaking in. And then the rest of this just looks like a semi-rugged bumper shell with all of these extra little clips and pieces that should help prevent water from getting into it. I'm just gonna test the waterproofing on this case first by snapping this all together. Make sure it's all nice and tight and snapped in, and dunking under the water. I see some little air bubbles coming up. So yeah, I'm seeing some little air bubbles pop up from where the speaker vents, but it doesn't look like any water's getting into the actual case. So this is looking pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about putting an actual phone in here. Oh, and one important thing to note before we jump into the actual case review, I just noticed this was included in the packaging. If you are using an iPhone 6, you must insert this spacer. So this apparently adds just that little bit of extra space, because we know the iPhone 6s, the casing on it is like a fraction of a millimeter thicker than the casing on the iPhone 6. So apparently the phone's actual girth and size does kind of help press these pieces, maybe give it just a little pressure as these pieces are clipped together, that the iPhone 6 won't be as well secured. So they included this extra little bit of material to make sure that can line up. That's actually kind of cool, because I think a lot of manufacturers are looking at their case solutions for the iPhone 6 and then just kind of hoping that the 6S is gonna fit. I've had varying success. I've had a few cases that didn't fit well on the 6S where they fit perfectly fine on the iPhone 6. Quickly walking around the case, like I said, everything's covered. So our top earpiece is covered. There's a very thin membrane there. We do have a cover on the iSight camera, and we do have additional plastic around that cover too. So a front face drop should protect the camera and the screen, thanks to these trenches built along the outside. I'm not sure there's like a grid. Let's see if I can get it on camera. You see, there's like a grid on this plastic screen protector, and there's just a little bit of clearance. You can see how like the screen protector warps or deforms as you press into the screen. So I'm assuming you need to give this a little extra give because of Force Touch, and we're gonna check out 3D Touch here in just a sec. But I don't love that floppy feel as you're interacting with elements on the screen. I am happy though that this is a covered front face. Some of those other, like I said, some of those other solutions where the screen is exposed but it's still a watertight solution kind of wig me out. And there is a thinner membrane here on the home button. Make sure Touch ID still works so that nothing's gonna interrupt the optical scan for your fingerprint. Back of the phone has a little bit of texture to it, should help with gripability, but the overall case finish is pretty slippery. And especially as we're worried about wetter conditions, that could potentially make this a little bit trickier to hold on to when it's wet, that slippery plastic feel. Top of the phone ain't got nada, and the bottom of the phone is where we'll find port covers to make sure the headphone jack and the lightning connector stay sealed. We do have this deep trench here with another membrane to allow access for the speaker. And then off to the side here, I always like this touch when we're dealing with rugged cases, is we have a little lanyard strap right there. So give you something that you can feed some string through or a little cable through and hold on to your phone nice and tight, wrap it around your wrist, make sure you don't drop it when you're out and about. All right, we've got a nice positive feel on the power button. It's a little gummier than the actual iPhone power key, so it's not fully translating that click through, but knowing that there's extra reinforced sides here, at least we're getting a positive click that you're actually interacting with it. Ditto the volume rockers. Yeah, they're a little gummier too. I don't necessarily love that button feel on this case here, especially after playing with some great bumper cases like Urban Armor's rubber bumper has very positive clicky action on the volume rocker, and here it's just a little bit stickier. And this is always the most worrisome part of any covered iPhone case, is how this rocker switch interacts with the rest of the case. And it's a really creaky feel. Like, you feel this creak and then it clicks, but you do actually have the ability to get it to click over, and the phone is vibrating right now to let me know that that mute switch is being activated. And we should probably test Touch ID. That's definitely a feature you don't want to lose on any case, especially if you're using services like Apple Pay, just to make sure. Oh, nope, that fired right up. Here, let's try it again. Yeah, very nice. Okay, good. So the little membrane here isn't getting in the way of the optical scan. I'm really happy to see that, because it's always a bummer if you feel like you have to give up on a feature to get another feature. So to get rugged drop protection and waterproofing, you can't unlock your phone with your fingerprints anymore. Happily, I can report that is not the case. I gotta say, I don't necessarily love the clearance on this screen guard. Happily, the iPhone has a very sensitive and responsive screen, so it's not like I have to work overly deliberately to get elements on screen to interact with my thumb, but it does seem to just, it flops a little bit. Like, there's that little bit of plastic floppiness before your thumb actually does hit the screen, which I'm sure you will get used to. It's just that I don't necessarily love that feel as I'm playing with it in this moment right now. But it absolutely isn't interfering with 3D touch. So if you've been digging on that feature on your iPhone 6S or 6S Plus, Dog and Bones case isn't going to interrupt your ability to press into the screen to get more information on your apps and services. Oh, and that's pretty sweet. So the membrane that protects the speaker, it definitely is reducing a little bit of the output and the volume from the phone, but it's not completely muffling it. So again, it's one of those trade-offs. You know you're gonna run into just a little bit of speaker attenuation by putting anything, even a super thin waterproof membrane in front of the speaker, but this shouldn't overly interfere with alerts, with notifications, your ringtones, and then just whenever you're playing audio, like you're streaming a video or you're playing a game, this does seem to still transmit and broadcast audio. You know what I'm gonna have to do now is take my iPhone 6S and dunk it into a little Tupperware. I guess this is a Rubbermaid. I want to get my brand straight. And this always makes me super nervous. I'm gonna do one last test running all the way around the phone, just make sure everything's clicked in. Because, man, I hate testing cases. I love testing rugged phones, but I hate testing cases. And now here we go. I'm just gonna dunk that underwater. The phone sinks, and we're just gonna let that play for a little bit. And I guess we should talk about price while this is underwater. The Dog and Bone Wetsuit Impact is actually a slightly pricier case. The suggested retail on this case is around $90. That is a little bit steep. We can always sort of make that assumption, you know, iPhone accessories are gonna be more expensive than some of their Android comparable accessories or solutions. But I'm happy to see that when you shop this thing around online, you're often paying well under what that suggested retail price is. I've been able to shop it around on Amazon for around 50 to 60 bucks, depending on what color scheme you're looking at. And that, I think, is a more reasonable solution once we start comparing it to other rugged and waterproof cases out on the market, like OtterBoxes, for example. That pricing starts to line up a little bit better. And oh, and I should probably also mention that it does come with a little headphone extender because of the additional plastic that is, you know, bordering your phone so that you can still listen to your audio. That might also be a drawback for some people in that it makes your headphone clearance a little bit more difficult, so you have to keep this extra piece around. But if you know that you're gonna be rocking this rugged case often, then you'll probably just be leaving this headset adapter on your favorite pair of headphones, and it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So folks, this has been the Dog and Bone Wetsuit Impact. You know, this isn't the kind of case, like I never look at OtterBoxes or Dog and Bone wetsuit cases as full-time case solutions, but they're great cases to keep in your lineup when you know you're going to be putting your phone through more rugged conditions. And that's why I love having a few of these options handy, ready to go for whenever I'm out and about. So the Wetsuit Impact waterproof slim rugged case from Dog and Bone for the iPhone 6S. I believe they've started branching out into more Android accessories too. So I think they make a version of this case for Galaxy owners out there, for Galaxy S6 owners, I should say. So definitely be on the lookout for more stuff from them, because I think they're making some cool alternative accessories for some of our favorite gadgets. I'll of course leave some links down below this video where we can get more info on Dog and Bone and shop these puppies online. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more case reviews and accessory reviews like these. And I would not be able to continue producing on this channel if you all weren't out there supporting it by shopping via all of the affiliate links down down below every single one of my videos, or by buying my book, Take Better Photos, Smartphone Photography for Noobs, is now available on Amazon to help you take your smartphone photography and video game up a notch. And of course, sharing my videos on your favorite social sites like Twitter and Reddit and Google+, and the Facebook is always greatly appreciated. So hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review. You know what would be really cool though, and I'm just sort of throwing this out there to the case manufacturing audience at large, is if someone were to make a smartphone case that was purposely oversized to include pockets of air to make your case float. So I mean, you drop this phone in a pool and it'll probably survive the depths of whatever pool you might drop it into, but it's gonna sink. So if you drop this phone like in the middle of a lake, you could still say goodbye to your phone, unless you had a case that could float. I think buoyancy should be another thing, another item on the checklist of rugged cases for manufacturers to consider. And it's just my thought on that. So there you go.